So we're going to be looking at a video of Pierre Poilievre. I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's the upcoming runner-up for potential Prime Minister of Canada after Justin Trudeau. Let's see what he has to say. From what I understood, he's pretty pro-Israel.
Yesterday you said that you endorse Israel proactively defending itself by hitting Iran's nuclear sites, which is something that President Joe Biden does not endorse. Do you not feel like this could lead to a likelihood of an all-out conventional war between Iran and Israel? And do you not agree with Joe Biden and his assessment?
I think the idea of allowing a genocidal, theocratic, unstable dictatorship that is desperate to avoid being overthrown by its own people to develop nuclear weapons is about the most dangerous and irresponsible thing that the world could ever allow.
I actually had a recent conversation with a very high-level, I'll say, security officer in the IDF, and he had told me that his biggest fear out of anything in this region, his biggest fear is the Islamic regime of Iran developing nuclear weapons. He, without a shadow of a doubt, said that if they ever develop nuclear weapons, the chaos that will unfold in the Middle East forthcoming after that, it's not something we'll physically be able to control, and we will see millions of people suffering and dying most likely under that kind of power. It is imperative that all of us, global citizens, all of us fight against the possibility of Iran developing nuclear weapons. It should not even be a reality. There should be no peace deal. They have shown us time and time again, now they are willing to strike Israel head on with their own weapons. There cannot be a reality where Iran develops nuclear weapons. And I couldn't agree with Pierre more.
And if Israel were to stop that genocidal, theocratic, unstable government from acquiring nuclear weapons, it would be a gift by the Jewish state to humanity.
That is a great... Damn, bro. Bro, become king of Canada, baby. I like you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, fuck you if you think I'm a shill for anybody who's pro-Israel. I'm not like that, but I'm saying, it seems like we have some leaders in the Western world who truly get it. Some, not a lot, some that truly understand what it takes to survive in this world that we live in today. We have a world where Russia and China and the axis of evil are literally progressing. They are actively progressing their ideology of trying to take over the world with evil. And we have people in the West that are falling for it. And we have politicians in the West who kind of just turn a blind eye to it. And they're like, fuck it, it's happening, so whatever. It doesn't really affect us so much. And then you have other people like him. You have people like Donald Trump who are stepping up to the plate to push back against these evil ideologies. Iran acquiring a nuclear weapon is evil. There is no justification. There is no moral equivalence. There's nothing you could do to ethically vouch for Iran developing a nuclear weapon. There's nothing about it that is ethical or moral. We can't allow it to happen. I don't think people understand how grave, how dangerous that is. We cannot allow something like that to happen. It would be a potential end of humanity. These are not stable people. These are not stable regimes or stable governments. We need to put an end to the chaos coming out of the Islamic world. We need to put an end to the chaos coming out of these Muslim countries. We need to start pushing, not for Western values, because I don't even like or agree with that term of Western values. Did you know that most of the Western values, that Judeo-Christian values, comes from the Middle East? That's on the back of Jewish society, back on Jewish culture. Where do all the Western values you get in the West come from? They come from the Hebrew Bible. They come from the Old Testament. They come from Israel. They don't come from the West, Western values. They come from the East. They come from Israel. But there's a difference. Like Jesus Christ, the New Testament, all the values that you have in the West, that shit was developed in Israel. Old Testament and New Testament. The whole story of that encompasses Israel. For the most part. There's some parts that take place in Mesopotamia and other parts of the Middle East, but it's all from the Middle East. Your Western values are our Middle Eastern values. The problem is we have a colonial movement we've never dealt with. And those are the Arabs, the Muslims, who conquered and colonized the Middle East and North Africa and Iran. We need to take care of that issue first, which is helping Arabs understand that most of them are colonized in their mentality. We have to help them unlock the truth of who they actually are and understand and push back against radical Islamism. Muslims have a place to live in society amongst everybody else. They should be allowed to live and practice their religion freely, however they want. But Islamism, jihadism, Salafism, Wahhabism, we need to put an end to these radical ways of thinking that justify mass murdering people based on religion or based on their ethnicity, and superiority complexes that make you believe that you're superior to somebody else because you are an Arab. I refuse to live in that world moving forward. And I'm so grateful that Israel allows me to broadcast this voice proudly to you, because I would not be able to do this from an Arab country. I'm so proud that I live in a country that allows me to make this kind of content to educate people all over the world. I'm immensely grateful for that. And I appreciate the Shah of Iran and Pierre for stepping up to the plate, both in the 70s and today, to openly acknowledge the fact that we need to put an end to Iran's chaos, and we need to put an end to the Palestinian cause, and revamp and reform that. Revamp and reform the realities we're living in. I love you guys a long time. Thanks for listening to me blab about, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, Clats.